From Buggy Baby, and today we're taking a look at the Baby Brezza Formula Pro Advance. If you formula feed, this product is designed to make things much quicker for you and to help make your life easier in terms of prepping your bottles. So what I'm going to do is get this out of the box so you can see the product up close and then go through all of the features on it. So here it is out of the box. This is how the unit comes. So it's all set up inside and ready to go. This is our instruction manual that comes with it. This retails at just under £240. Initially, that does seem quite pricey for a baby item. However, if you speak to anybody that's used one of these, they will tell you it's worth every penny because it saves so much time. And I know a lot of people find them much more hygienic to use because there's less touching of the bottles, less touching of the formula. So from what I've heard, it's money well spent. So what you would do with this is you would pop your formula in the top here, and you can see it's all set up here. And what this part does is not only does it keep your formula airtight once you've got the lid back on, but in here it dispenses the formula, and then that will mix with the water. It will get it to the right temperature, and then it dispenses it down here onto your bottle. Now this is the drip tray. You can move this to whatever level you want, and that will obviously depend on what size bottle you're using. It holds about 700 grams of formula in there, so you can really fill it up. You can see there in the picture, you can really fill it up to the max here, and that's going to last you a fair while of bottle making. Baby Brezza do state that this will work with all major formula brands and also bottles. And if you're unsure at all, I think you can go onto their website and have a look to see whether it includes your formula. But so far, I haven't heard of any formula that doesn't work on here. There are 3 different temperature settings that you can use for this. There's also 9 different settings available depending on how many ounces you want in your bottle. I haven't got it plugged in, but you can see here it's a LED display, and you've got all of your buttons around here. It's really simple to use. You can see here the instructions. They're really simple instructions. Here, this is how you control the temperature. This is how you control how many mils or ounces you want on there. So it's really simple, really straightforward. It's not going to take you long to work out how to use it at all. Now, what would you use this for? So if you are a formula feeder, you will be well aware of how much time and effort it takes to make your baby's bottle. So if you wanted to make life easier for yourself, this would be the product to buy. So what you would do is every day, around in this water tank at the back here, you would fill that up, enough water for a day's worth of bottles. And then you would already have your powder in here. And it takes 15 seconds to make a bottle. So that's a complete bottle up to the temperature that you've chosen, ready to give to your child. So rather than having to think about preparing your bottles in advance and then heating them up in however it is you're going to heat them up, making sure they're the right temperature, all you would do is pop your bottle here, put the temperature on that you want, how many ounces you want, press go, and then your bottle's ready for your child. So if you think about that in everyday life, what that's going to be useful for is if you're in a rush, for example, you're about to leave the house and your child suddenly needs a bottle, it's not going to be a problem. You've got it right there, 15 seconds, you're ready to go. Another thing that people find this great for is using for nighttime feeds. So rather than having to go downstairs and prep a bottle, you could have this up in your room, ready to go. Obviously, the water would be fresh because you would have filled that up every day, and you can just quickly put a bottle underneath there, press the button, and you're ready for the nighttime feed. Another thing that people find it great for is if you have a crying baby. Now, if you've had a baby already, you'll know what it does to you when your newborn baby is crying for a bottle. It brings up all sorts of emotions inside of you, and what you want to do is get your baby fed as quickly as you can to settle them. So again, rather than having the baby in your arm and messing around making a bottle, you would just simply put it under there and then you're good to go. One of the other great things about this is there are no air bubbles. So again, when you do a bottle by hand and you're shaking it, you have to wait a while for that bottle to settle sometimes to make sure you've got no air bubbles. And one of the reasons why you don't want air bubbles is if you have a child that has any sort of reflux, that will not help them. So you really want that bottle to have as fewer bubbles as possible before they start feeding, so they're not taking in air. So having a product like this, which doesn't have the air bubbles when you make the bottle, will really make your life a lot easier. Right, if we have another look here at the back where our water tank is, let's take this off. Get all of this off. Okay, here is our water tank. So you can see there, it's not going to store much more water than what you would need for one day anyway. And as I said, you are expected to change the water in this every day. And you would either need to use pre-boiled water that you put in there, or if you wanted to, you could buy distilled water. You wouldn't just use tap water straight from the tap and put it in there. You would need to do either of those things. You will want to make sure that if you're using pre-boiled water, it has cooled down enough before you pop it in there. So this water container itself can actually go in a dishwasher, and it's recommended that you give this a wash every month. So you can either do that by hand and let it air dry, or this part here you can pop in the dishwasher. Also, once a month, what you'll want to do is descale the product. So you can use that with cooled down boiled water and some clear vinegar will do that for you. As well as that, once a month, you will need to clean all of the parts inside of here, which all just come out. And then you can get them all, hand wash them. It mustn't go in the dishwasher, all of these parts. You would hand wash them, and then you would let them air dry before you put them back in. And when you do put them back in, you just need to make sure that your hands are thoroughly washed and dry, so that you can then put it all back together and it'll be nice and sterile for you. The other thing that you'll need to do to keep this clean, and this is something that you'll need to do daily. In fact, they tell you that after every 4 bottles you need to do this. So obviously here we've got the dispenser, the funnel, and these parts here will need to be clear of any debris. And also what that's going to do is make sure that your bottle's always nice and clean and you don't get any clumps or anything like that in it. So all you need to do to remove it is put it out like this. You would again hand wash this, just warm soapy water, let it air dry, and then if you have a look under here, what it asks you to do is just to wipe this clean as well, like I said, just to make sure there's no debris there at all. So when you're washing it, these 2 bits come apart. You can see how quick and easy that's going to be, just to give that a quick clean, let it air dry. Again, make sure you've got nice clean hands before you pop it back onto the product. A couple of other things just to note: you will need to sterilise your bottles as you would do normally if you were making the bottle by hand before you use them. So that part is no different for you. However you choose to sterilise them, you would do that first before popping the bottle on there and making up the bottle. And also, if you have any leftover milk that the baby hasn't drunk, just dispose of it. Don't store it, just dispose of it. You can see Baby Brezza have done a good job here. It's a really sleek design. It's going to fit on your countertop, no problem. And like I said, if you wanted to take this up to your bedroom at night, it's the perfect size just to fit onto your bedside unit. And you can see here, we've got a decent size length for your plug so that you can plug it in nice and easily. This is one of those products that you didn't know you needed until you have it. So you would go about your everyday making your bottles, faffing around with it, and then you use one of these and you wonder why you ever did it that way in the first place. Really, if you ask anybody that's used one of these, I very much doubt you'll find anyone who doesn't tell you that it's pretty much been life-changing for them. We all know, if you've already had a baby, how busy it is, how rushed it is, and how bottle prepping is always a hassle. So something like this, if you need to leave the house quickly and your baby needs feeding, it's invaluable. And like I said, at night time, not having to go downstairs and prep a bottle, and instead while you're half asleep, just get in your sterilised bottle, pressing the button, and you're done, and you can settle your baby quickly. It really will mean so much to you, that time that you've saved and the hassle as well that you've saved. It'd also be a really nice gift to give somebody. This may be the sort of product that someone doesn't think of initially to have. And so if you have got somebody that maybe wants to buy you a gift, perhaps a parent or a grandparent, or maybe people want to club together to buy you something, this is a really great purchase. Like I said, it might be something that you don't really think about at first to get for yourself, but you won't regret getting one. If you're moving on from breastfeeding, obviously when you're breastfeeding, you don't have to think about any of the prep or anything like that. So when you do move on to a formula bottle, perhaps when you're doing follow-on milk or you decide to stop breastfeeding, this is a really nice, easy way of doing it, because there's no thought process involved other than having to make sure you keep this product clean. It's going to be really easy for you. So rather than going from having no hassle feeding to then lots of hassle prepping your bottles, this is a really nice transition product for you. We always get really great reviews from this product. So many customers are impressed with the ease of it. But also one of the things they really like is how slimline it is and how it can just slot into your kitchen nice and easily. It's not going to take up loads of space. It's really easy to store. The other thing we hear from people is how easy it is to keep it clean and maintain it. Although we've talked about obviously having to take this out daily and thinking about the monthly cleaning of the other parts, it takes seconds. You're just hand washing it and leaving it to dry. It's really no issue at all. There is a wealth of information on the Baby Brezza website. If you want to get any more information on the product, perhaps you thought of some questions that you want answering, you should be able to find everything you need on there. Of course, if you have any other questions, please do leave them in the comments of our videos so that we can try and help you with it. Another nice thing about the size of this is you can see that this is going to be really easy to pack up and take with you on your travels. So perhaps you're staying somewhere for a few nights, you could just take this with you, which will just make things so much easier when you're away. If you do want any more information, please pop onto buggybaby.co.uk. I hope this video has given you a really good overview of the product and what you would use it for. As I said, if you've got any questions at all, please do leave them in the comments, and thank you very much for watching.